This time on Bishop's Bits, I head off on part 2 of an epic girls' trip to the Coromandel with my dog. In part 1, we stayed at Whirianga. For this part of the trip though, we head to the west coast for 2 nights. We attempted to get to the tippy top of the peninsula, but we only made it to Fantail Bay before heading back to our hometown in Auckland. We camped in the Land Rover. We had some great weather, amazing sunsets and sunrises, and some quite challenging weather. Check out part 1 on our channel, but come along with us now and see what the girls get up to when Mr. Bishop's away. We started off the day in a beautiful little spot with some of the whitest sands I have seen in the North Island in New Zealand. I was feeling pretty peckish after a very strange evening and morning in Whirianga where I didn't really get to eat properly. So luckily this place has an awesome spot for food and coffee, Luke's Kitchen. It's obviously a little early for beer, but if you are passing through this spot in the afternoon, this place not only has great breakfast, but a good craft beer on tap too. Well, we've headed off down the road now, we're all fueled up, and we're off to look at the local boat ramp, as we're always checking out spots to launch our trailer boat in the future. We've got a 7-metre aluminium boat, so we need a good concrete boat ramp to launch safely. So always on the lookout for future adventures. This spot would do good on a good day, but could be a little challenging if there was a northerly coming in. It's got a one-way road that takes you down to the beach and back up again. It looks pretty organised and has all the amenities you could want really. So we're headed off now back up and over the hills to the west coast. Look out there, you'll see in the distance the beautiful west coast islands. What a day, I wish I was out there fishing with my man. We've made it to the other side and now we're headed into Coromandel Township. Coromandel Town is a cute little coastal settlement. Its history is tied to gold mining and timber industries. If you're a boatie, you might like to note that you can fuel up here at the Gas Orange station across the road from the marina. We've done this once before, but make sure you take cans with you and only attempt this 2 hours either side of the high tide. We've headed just down the road to Coromandel Wharf. This seems to offer boat docking facilities for locals and tourists. The wharf has been a significant part of the region's history and a crucial part for shipping timber and minerals during the gold rush era. For boaties, you can fuel up here with diesel, but yeah, you'll have to head down to that petrol station for petrol. I think there's non-drinkable water here too if you really need that. And off we go again. We are headed up the coast again now. We've just arrived at Oamaru Bay, a beautiful sheltered spot, maybe not from the westerly, but it has a great concrete boat ramp. It reminds me a lot of Rāwhiti up north in the Bay of Islands if you've ever been there. It looks like there's some great campgrounds around here, back at Oamaru Bay and also Papaaraha. They look like they have great cabins, somewhere to stay perhaps if you're here on a boat and you need some dry land to just chill out on for a little while. Well, we're starting to get our first views of where we're actually heading. Way out there in the distance you can see the peninsula. This is a place I've always wanted to visit because my dad always talks about it. There's a great concrete boat ramp here and a really awesome place to stay evidently, where they'll even launch your boat for you, if I understand correctly. Speaking of awesome places my dad would recommend, I used to come here when I was a kid with my family and it was so much fun. There's horse riding and treks and eel catching and all sorts of things you'd want to explore on a farm. I think I even milked a few cows here. So we're just coming into Colville now. There is an awesome little general store here and it's the last place you can get fuel on the way up the coast here. And finally we can kind of see where we really are heading. We've just turned off the main road and we're on gravel. We've come across the farmers herding cows down the road, so Inde's pretty excited about seeing all of this. And we've finally made it. Looks like there's this really cool place to stay called the Homestead. It's attached to the campground, so you'd book it through them. So you'll know me by now that I will always prioritise checking out a boat ramp. So before we go and check in, I just want to go and have a look at this boat ramp at the end of the beach to see, could this be a place that we would launch our boat in the future? Well, it's a definite possibility. Time to go check in. About 45 minutes later, I finally have my feet up. So I thought I'd better give you a quick tour now that we are all set up. This is my front yard. Pretty nice, huh? So if I just take you back to the campsite, here we are. So we've got the sun shelter set up. I haven't got the guy ropes up yet, but I'll put those up shortly. Just a simple compact chair, stool, put down the tarp where I'm going to be sitting most so that my feet don't get all sandy. Doggy bed. Got the little kitchen here, so what have we got? We've got cleaning stuff. We've got a jet boil, love the jet boil. Water here, I'll have to boil to drink, but that's why I've got lots of water bottles. Rubbish up high, keep away from pests. Down here I have got first aid kit, fire extinguisher, knives, forks, plates, etc. and a little extendable sink there. And this is a really cool compact table too. It goes down to hardly anything. Up here we've got the other part of the kitchen, which I'll set up later for dinner. This is a Cobb barbecue. They are awesome. Over here we've got my general food. That's my pantry. Just got my shoes, my toiletries, and my bags down there. Fishing gear inside that blue bag. Bed, obviously. Got a thermarest in there, and a sleeping bag underneath that blanket, so I was super toasty warm last night. My little lanterns up there, and I'll take you around this way. So obviously I've got power, so power coming over there. Always have to remember to bring your cable. So Inde will sleep in there beside me tonight. Then in the front we have power coming in. We've got my little brass monkey fridge that is super useful, so I'll just show you inside there. Just can fit everything I really need. I've got drinks and things in there, and then I've just got my towels and tea towels and things like that stored down there. There doesn't seem to be anybody here. We've got the place to ourselves. Inde's loving having a bit of a wander around. Over that side of the beach is where that boat ramp was. And these are the northernmost islands in the Coromandel. So Elephant Bay or Elephant Islands out there, pretty cool spot. And this is Colville. The Colville Bay is in here. Toilet blocks down there behind those trees, so a little bit of a walk at night time. Looks like there's a wee bit of a cloud coming in. Hopefully that won't rain on us this evening, but it's not scheduled to. So there we have it, home away from home. So a little tip is to always check with the campground if you can bring your dog. Sometimes they have periods of time where they won't allow them, so just pre-check. Worst ball player ever, but she gets a participant award, that's for sure. Sometimes it kind of hits her on the head. She doesn't watch it. She cannot find the ball. She will go everywhere, except for where the ball is. The great standoff between Inde and a baby bunny. It's not going too well, Inde. Making new friends. Oh, Inde doesn't like her butt being sniffed. She hates it. Come on, you two. I walked out to the wharf this evening. Pretty cool spot. Wonder what this building was. Very shallow down there, so if I went rock fishing, not sure I would have a lot of luck. I thought perhaps this was too muddy at low tide, but it's not. It's actually really compacted hard sand. So I think mid to high tide this ramp would be all good for our boat. There's just a band of soft sand at the top. That could be a bit of a problem. So it's super solid sand, so good to launch with, but we're at low tide, you would not be able to launch or retrieve. I don't think. That's pretty muddy there. But at high tide, probably all good. So just as I said that, I was proven wrong. This ute came down to pick up this boat at the lowest of tides. Good job. So tonight for dinner on the cob we've got veggie fritters. We've got some grated zucchini in there, some grated carrot, flour, eggs and a few yummy toppings which will go on the cob. Almost forgot the spices and the onion and garlic. Well, that turned out pretty yum. Veggie fritters, sour cream, hot sauce, coriander, all in the cob. Good work, cob. I've now gone night mode. How cool does this look? It's super cozy with these two walls up. Gotta love those bugs. They love the light. Which means if you put a light up here, they will leave your sleeping space alone. Good morning. Inde just woke me up. Inde's enjoying her morning snuggles. For some reason she loves her leg being scratched. She stretches all the way out. Inde and I have just gone for our morning walk. It's looking very moody in the sky this morning. There was a bit of rain last night, which isn't all too bad because it's kind of nice to hear the rain on the roof. But yeah, another beautiful morning. Maybe not as good as yesterday, but still beautiful. all along the waterfront are these cute little benches, really. People's slices of paradise. And people have built out the front their little bars. Isn't that cool? How you make a weather forecast in this area? I think I need to read the book on the left there. Never give up on a kingfish. It's kind of interesting how everyone has put up a fortress in front of their caravans so they don't see the beach. But I can understand why after being in a few storms. Camping with the wind coming in off the beach. So this morning I put on the jet boil for a cup of tea, done my dishes, and I am making a wee omelette. One thing to note is that the moment you leave the camp and start to drive up north, you will hit a gravel road. It's a view of the camp from up the hill. How incredibly moody and awesome does that look? It's just started to rain a little. This spot looks like it was hit quite hard by one of our last cyclones. This stone wharf looks like it's made from granite, but it's actually tonalite rock that is good for construction. It has been quarried here since the early 1900s and was actually used to build New Zealand's Parliament buildings and the Auckland Museum. In the 1990s, they reopened the quarry to provide stone for the refurbishment of our Parliament buildings. Last push up the coast now, coming across a few spots that have been affected by our recent weather events. And we've finally made it to Fantail Bay. There is an awesome campsite here. It's a dock one that you can pre-book. We didn't make it up the coast all the way to Port Jackson. It was just too far in the space of time that we had. I did think about going fishing on this little trip up the coast, but I just felt a bit weird about doing it all by myself. I just didn't feel safe. I've got my life jacket and my personal locator beacon, but I just didn't feel good, so I trusted my gut and just left it. Last evening stroll of the trip. Not sure if you can see it, but just over by that post in the middle there, you can see the green tent. That's our campsite. So this afternoon when we went on our drive, we went around those mountains up there, around the coast. Nice evening stroll. The wind's calmed down a little bit. Inde's pretty happy. So I 100% rate this campground. The only thing I wonder about though is, see that toilet block? There's one. Then all the way down there you see the green building, bottom right. That's the next toilet block. And the camp goes all the way down there. So I'm not sure if there's some secret facilities I haven't found yet, but everyone must sort of have their own loos and things, because it's a long way to go in the middle of the night. So something that I'm really enjoying about filming is that you're constantly looking at views in a different way. Like, I just looked up at the sky. How cool is that? What is it, Inde? Oh, we'll go play ball shortly, okay? You gotta let Mama finish her beer. Okay? Mum's doing important stuff like having her feet up and doing a crossword. So, we'll get to it shortly. I promise. So one more tour of the campground before we pack up and go tomorrow. You'll notice that I have moved it around a bit. So we've now got the wall up there and there, because there is a breeze coming in through there, quite strong. And now we've got the car here. So just a little adaptation, but works well to keep us warm. We were lucky enough that even though we didn't go fishing, there was an amazing couple in the campground that shared some of their kai with us. So we would end up with a little bit of Coromandel snapper for dinner. Along with some kumara fries and a dusting of flour, that'll do us. Dinner time. Kumara fries and fish. One of my new favourite products for camping is squeezable sour cream. So convenient, not messy. Night night. See you in the morning. Good morning. It is 7:30 a.m. I've been up pretty early this morning, I think about 6, pulling down that sun shelter because it got really windy. So we're just going for a little walk now, and then we will head off. Nice early start to get home to see my man. So later on this morning when we head home, we're going to be on about maybe a 3-hour drive all the way around the horizon here. You might see on the horizon these really light coloured islands. That's actually the mainland, and we're heading all the way around there. Got a bit windy. A bit windy, Inde. So after a couple of days of camping, Inde's okay, but I would like a shower. So just a top tip, remember to bring dollar coins so that you can actually use the shower here. And we're off on our way home, and what a great start to the drive. We've come across some dolphins. Time for a coffee and a little bite to eat at Coromandel Township. Well, it's Saturday today, which means that the boat ramps are pretty full. We're home! Are we at home, Inde? Are we at home? You're pretty excited about that. Remember to hit the thumbs up and like this video, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more of our adventures. Leave us some comments, we'd love to hear from you. Happy days!